5 levels of listening. Just as communication has its given levels, from idle small talk to soul-bearing confession and revelation, so does the art of listening. It's not as simple as simply flipping a switch to change from inattention to total concentration. Solid communication takes working through each of these levels, often in a conscious way. There are 5 different levels of listening that we experience, from total ignorance to almost consuming attention. Most of our lives, we sort of float through the first 4 levels, which all reflect at least a measure of self-interest. In other words, in those 4 levels, we still use our own references in those stages to interpret what the other person is saying, if we're listening at all. Many of us can hope to get to level 4 at best, and even that stage can turn out to be a bit deceptive. In all truth, some of us never quite get to the deepest level 5, even though it's the most important level and the one we should shoot for. It involves total focus and absorption in what our partner is saying. Getting there is exceptionally rare and hard to maintain. But in order to drive communication in a relationship forward, it's vital that we try to get to that deepest level. Here then are the levels we're talking about. 1. Ignoring. 2. Pretend listening. 3. Selective listening. 4. Attentive listening. 5. Empathetic listening. 1. Ignoring. I'm betting this level is obvious. It's not listening at all, an ostrich with its head in the sand. Whether you're distracted, consumed with something else, or flat out don't care, ignorance is an immediate discouragement to anyone who's trying to speak to you. Person A. I'm worried about our son. He's spending an awful lot of time online and doesn't interact with anyone in the real world anymore. Person B. Person A. It's like he's got no interest in forming real relationships with anybody. It's got me quite concerned. Person B. Person A. Hello? Person B. Person A. Also, he just drove our minivan into the river and is sacrificing animals to the Dark Lord in our living room. Person B. Person A. Are you hearing a word I'm saying? Person B. Hey, look at that squirrel. There's not much to be said about this level. It's bad communication at its worst. Person B is utterly uninterested in Person A's point of view and makes no effort to say anything until something catches their personal interest. This first level of communication is important to get out of ASAP, but keep in mind, someone not being able to hear you is not ignorance, so speak up if you can. 2. Pretend listening. This happens most prevalently in face-to-face communication. We look like we're paying attention, but we're not entirely engaged with what our partner is saying. Our eyes might get that distant look, and we just don't appear to be all there. We make the slightest cues imaginable just to appear that we're taking in everything, but in reality, we're kind of phoning it in, like a bored hall monitor. Person A. I had a talk with my sister the other day. Her husband's been staying long hours at the office. I think she suspects something. Person B. Person A. I know she can get a little overly dramatic and unduly suspicious, but he can't have that much work to do. Not so much that he misses 4 dinners a week. Person B. Yes. Person A. I kind of think she might have cause for concern, don't you? Person B. Yeah. Wait. What? Person A. Have you really heard anything I'm saying? Person B. Hey, look, that squirrel's back again. The level 2 listener is making only a superficial effort to convince their partner that they're involved in the conversation so as not to appear rude, but of course, they're still preoccupied with their own thoughts and concerns. They stay at the baseline minimum, and it can be frustrating to anyone trying to impart a real thought or concern. It's progress, but not much. 3. Selective listening. At this level, we give our partner real attention, to a point. As long as the speaker is saying something we agree or sympathize with, we're with them. But if they switch direction and say something that doesn't jibe with us, we go back to pretend listening or ignoring them. It can be a reaction to a sentiment we have resistance toward, a story we don't care about, or a statement we disagree with. We initially sound like we're involved and concerned, but at a certain break point, we go back under our shell. Person A. I've had it up to here with the people at work. It's the refrigerator policy. I've said for weeks that if your name's on a container, it should be untouchable. Person B. I agree with you. People are still stealing your food? Person A. Yes. Someone's using my salad dressing. Person B. Oh, that's not good. Person A. I get what they're thinking. They think salad dressing is not really a piece of food. They think it's more like a condiment, like mustard and ketchup. Person B. I guess I understand why people would think that way. You're only supposed to use a little bit of ketchup or mustard on something, whereas with salad dressing, you probably use a lot more at a time. Person A. You know what? Even if there is a bottle of ketchup in the fridge, if my name is on that bottle, it's untouchable. If I feel like sharing my ketchup, I'll offer some. Person B. But it's just ketchup. Person A. So what? If my name's on it, the ketchup's off limits to anyone but me. If you need ketchup so badly, then hop over to the fast food joint and take a bunch of those ketchup packets. Leave mine alone. Person B. Person A. It's just the kind of disrespect that's so typical of how we live today. They think we should just throw ketchup around like it's something they're entitled to. I don't care. If I've declared that it's mine, you have to ask if you want to use it, you know? Person B. Person A. I said, you know? Person B. Oh, sorry. I was just looking at a squirrel on TV. First, don't worry about how silly this exchange might sound. I made it silly on purpose. Person A is upset about something that many might consider a terribly trivial, very first world problem. They're tired of a certain pattern and it's driving them crazy. Is it even worth the breath to complain about? The answer, it doesn't matter. Whatever we think of person A's obsession with ownership of foodstuffs, they're upset about what's happening. There's nothing wrong with feeling that way. It's person A's feelings, and they're entitled to feel any way they want about the refrigerator situation. Person B agrees with person A to a point, but then person A says something that person B doesn't agree with. That salad dressing and ketchup are, for all intents and purposes, not equals in the world of refrigerator leftovers. Person B thinks person A is making a ridiculous point and has tuned them out. Even if we agree with person B and disagree with person A, the fact is that when the conversation took a turn that person B didn't like, they went back to level 1 ignorance of person A. They just dropped out and stopped listening altogether. That's selective listening. When the talk's going our way and resounding our values, everything's great. But when we hear something that strikes us as wrong, we check out. It doesn't matter whether the topic is ketchup, world politics, family matters, or death. Selective listening is still an incomplete level of communication, and some might consider it worse than ignorance. 4. Attentive listening. This, in all honesty, is good. Not perfect, but good. We're giving our partner our complete attention and listening to every detail they provide. We're not distracted. We're not shutting them out selectively, and we're not changing the subject. However, what keeps this level from being 5-star, fully focused listening is our analytical and judgmental mind. While they speak, we're comparing their statements to our own points of view. deciding whether we're in agreement with them or not, like someone on a debate team. This is more than fair in a two-way conversation where both parties are expected to provide equal exchange. But the fact that we're still assessing our partner with our own reason and logic keeps it from being pure listening. Person A: my mother's starting an online business. Person B: doing what? Person A: selling some of her homemade crafts. She thinks she can do it on her own. I'm not sure she's completely sure what she's in for. Person B: what are your doubts? Person A: that she's never done anything remotely related to web management or coding, and I don't know that she knows anyone who has. She's almost 70, and I'm just concerned she's underestimating what it'll take. Person B: you know, there are relatively cheap courses she can take online that can help her do it from scratch. It's helped a lot of people. Person A: yeah, I suppose she can look into those. As you can see, this last exchange doesn't end in a disagreement, an invalidation, detachment, or, thankfully, another squirrel sighting. It's a fair and open exchange. Person B is paying close attention to what Person A is saying and is drawing Person A out, so it's safe to reveal what their innermost feelings are. That's all good. But after hearing Person A explain what their doubts are, Person B makes a suggestion that Person A's mom check out some online courses. Person B made this recommendation from their own standpoint. Hearing Person A's doubts activated Person B's own experience, judgment, or opinion, and it caused Person B to make a remark that was on topic but not reflective of what Person A was thinking or feeling. Is this terrible? Of course not. Maybe Person A and Person B talk this way with each other all the time. They might be perfectly comfortable with giving and hearing each other's advice and might even welcome it. But Person A could have taken Person B's suggestion as a form of invalidation. Person A was in the midst of expressing her emotional state and may not have been finished. They could have taken Person B's advice as a forced solution intended to stop the conversation. It all depends on how secure and close their relationship is and what boundaries they've set up for themselves in communication. Attentive listening is very good. Responses like Person B's aren't criminal and hopefully don't result in a spell of eggshell walking when they're trying to figure out what to say. It's just something to be aware of, think about, and consider in advance of the communication. 5. Empathetic listening. This is both the final, most desirable level of listening and the polar opposite of the first level of ignorance. In empathetic listening, we give all our attention to the person we're talking to. We're not just zeroed in on what they're saying. We're putting ourselves in their shoes. We're not theorizing what we would do or feel in their situation. We're making a strong effort to understand where they're coming from. In empathetic listening, we react as though we're hearing our partner's story for the first time, even if it's something we've talked about before. We treat it as new and unusual information that doesn't pass through our own judgments, values, opinions, or frames of reference. It's not an easy level to achieve and requires discipline, but it's the most rewarding for both conversation partners. Person A: I know we've talked about this before, but Chris is really getting to me. He's been a brat the last couple of weeks, and I'm not sure what to do about it. Person B: what is happening? Person A: he's remote. He's emotionally distant. He's been staying out late most nights, and when he doesn't, he locks himself into his study and shuts himself off. Person B: you must feel extremely lonely. Person A: yeah, but more to the point, I just feel like I've been left out to dry. We've been together 7 years, and this sudden change just came out of nowhere. I'm confused. I don't know what brought it on. I don't know if he's hiding something from me, or whether this is just what longtime couples go through. Person B: You must be struggling to endure under that kind of mystery. Person A. Yeah, I am. If I could get any clarity from him on the situation, it would be helpful. I don't know. We'll see. In this example, Person B takes themselves out of the story completely. They start off by prompting Person A to confide in them. Then they're trying to imagine the emotional and mental state Person A is going through without making themselves the subject. That's why they say, "You must feel extremely lonely," rather than, "I would feel extremely lonely." A small, maybe imperceptible difference in syntax, but one that reinforces that Person A is the subject of the exchange and that Person B is giving them their full focus. Then, Person B imagines being in Person A's position and tries to empathize. You must be struggling to endure under that kind of mystery. This shows that Person B is really trying to understand what Person A is going through. That's different from the step in level 4, in which Person B compares what they're hearing with their own experience and judgments. It's a guess, not a declaration, and it's a you statement, not an I statement. That reminds Person A that they're getting full attention and comprehension, which, in itself, is a validating and positive communication experience. This has been Improve Your People Skills: How to Connect with Anyone, Communicate Effectively, Develop Deep Relationships, and Become a People Person. Written by Patrick King, narrated by Russell Newton. Copyright 2019 by Patrick King. Production copyright by Patrick King.